I noticed I had no control of my time. I couldn't do anything that I wanted to do at all. I was consumed by the business. And then when I looked at it, like all of this time I'm putting in the business, I'm not really making what I think I'm making because of my time is outweighing my profit. So I really knew that I had to start working on my business instead of in my business.
This is the Wealthy Contractor Podcast, brought to you by G4 Marketing. Interviews with today's top home improvement entrepreneurs about marketing, sales, money, mindset, and lifestyle. Now, here's your host, Brian Kaskavalciyan.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Wealthy Contractor Podcast. This is Brian Kaskavalciyan with G4 Marketing Group. And today I have with me Dan Beattie. Dan is married to Megan. We might know her as Megan Knows Marketing. Megan's kind of a badass. I'm actually interviewing her tomorrow. And I recently saw Dan and Megan at an event. And Dan has got a great story for his business and what's kind of been happening for him recently. So I thought he'd be a great guest for all of you. So before we dig into that, I want to make sure that everybody's got a copy of my book, The 7 Secrets to Becoming a Wealthy Contractor. Oh, look, there you go. Cool. The book is free. I buy the book. You just pay for delivery. You can get your copy at thewealthycontractor.com. So Dan, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So let's start off with the 60-second version of your story.
Okay, well, I've always been, in working with my hands. I've been a sprinkler man my whole life since I was a little kid. And my brother had a fence company. I've always kind of been intrigued with what he was doing. And I just got tired of fence after a long period of time. And I got into marketing. Started my own marketing company years ago, which fell on its face because I had no idea what I was doing with marketing. But I continued to learn. And about 2 years ago, my brother asked me, he was like, he has a failing company. It kept failing every couple of years and he kept trying to rebuild it. And he was like, will you help me do some marketing? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I started helping him do marketing for his fence company and it started doing well. And I asked him to be my partner. If he didn't want to be my partner, he wanted to continue working for himself. I read the 7 Secrets. I gave it to him and I told him, well, I guess I'm going to start my own thing. So here we are.
So wait a minute, you read the 7 Secrets and then you decided to go out on your own?
Yes.
Oh, crap. Okay, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yep.
Of course, you were there before reading the book.
Yes, absolutely. I've been
on because of the book. But they came along around the same time.
There was something in the book that really pushed me to make a decision right now. It was to be 100% committed to what I'm doing no matter what, 100% of the time. So if I was committed to his business, then I wasn't committed to my future and my success. So when I proposed becoming a business partner with me and like really launching this company to where I thought we could, grow to, I had to take, my life into my own hands. I'm committed to my own life. So yeah, that kind of pushed me over the edge.
So let me ask you, so your brother, you said your brother is in the fence business. So do you compete against him now?
Yeah, yes, I do. We sell against each other now. Unfortunately, he hasn't spoken to me in the year that I've been in business.
Sorry. That's tough. That's really tough.
But, hopefully, in the future that'll change. But I can only focus on my mission.
Yeah. So you've been in business for a year and you don't have to share numbers if you don't want to, but you hit a pretty significant milestone recently. Do you want to share that?
Yeah. When I first started my business, we were doing about, 3,000 a month. But recently we've gained some traction and now we're doing about $100,000 a month consistently for the past 4 months.
Awesome. Congratulations. Congratulations. And you're profitable, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. We have about a 35%
Okay,
profit.
great. Good for you. Good for you. So before we turned on the recording, there was something that you were telling me that you learned, an important thing that you learned along the way. Do you want to share what that is?
Yeah, it's the understanding the business that I'm really in, and that this is a marketing and it's a marketing innovation business that happens to sell fence. So I'm not the fence guy. I'm the marketing guy. My job is to market fence business, and I am the business. So I began to look at my brother's business immediately when I read that in a totally different way. And I looked at every business that I've created before, because I've had a couple of failing businesses before this. And it gave me a new perspective. And I was like, and I really enjoy the marketing aspect of it. And I was like, wow, now I can find, like, that gave me joy and purpose. It was like, now I'm in business doing what I love. Now I'm not the fence guy because I really don't like fence. I just know that the margins are good.
Yeah.
But I love the marketing. I love the advertising. I love connecting with the people in a way that, it translates the message. So that was kind of a moment for me.
Yeah, it's an important distinction for people to make, that we are in sales and marketing, especially up to a certain amount. My feeling is up until about 10 million, maybe even a little bit more in sales, you really have to be think of yourself as a sales and marketing organization. Once you get past a certain point, it's not 10, it's actually bigger. The business morphs again, and it becomes a training company. It becomes a people development company. But when you're under 10 million and you're growing the business, and getting it to that point where it's going to provide you the lifestyle and the wealth that you want, you really got to think about it in terms of sales and marketing, because that's really the game, and that's where the money is, right? Going every day, and okay, where am I going to go today, and whose fence am I going to install? But that's great if that's what you want to do, but it's going to be very limiting in terms of how much money you can make.
Without marketing, you're getting zero fence jobs.
That's true.
You have to find the customers through marketing. So there's that.
Now, did Megan help you with the marketing?
No, actually,
Awesome.
like I said, I started learning myself after I fell on my face years ago. And then I got into insurance sales. So insurance really showed me the ropes. I've done a lot of door-to-door marketing. So I've sold Kirby's, I've sold Sunset Waste, I've sold Talk America Telephone. I've sold meat out of a truck door to door, and that's a hard sell. So I understood that, like, I had no fear and that I loved it. And I just kept learning on my own. So Megan is really good at marketing, but she's not good at advertising. I'm exceptional at advertising and at digital graphics, digital graphic design and web design. So I've been doing it myself. I lean on her a lot for the psychology behind things, because she's a pro at that, and verbiage. But yeah, I've been doing a lot on my own.
Yeah, good for you. That's amazing. So you have steadily grown. You said, where were you before? You were at about 30,000 in sales?
We were at about 3,000 in sales.
3,000. Okay, I thought I heard that wrong. Okay, you were at about 3,000. Okay, so you weren't doing much. All right. So what started to shift in your thinking? Because it all starts there. If the thinking's not there, you're never going to get past wherever you're comfortable. So you had to get uncomfortable with where you were at. So what started to happen for you?
I noticed I had no control of my time. I couldn't do anything that I wanted to do at all. I was consumed by the business. And then when I looked at it, like, all of this time I'm putting in the business, I'm not really making what I think I'm making because of my time is outweighing my profit. So I really knew that I had to start working on my business instead of in my business. So I started, putting processes and systems in place to get me out of that and work my way out of working in the business as the installer. I'm still working in the business as I'm still running leads. I just hired an inbound sales rep, so they're taking calls and they're fielding all my leads now. So that's off of my plate. So phasing myself out of different things. Right now, I'm building a sales process on an iPad, proprietary to our company, and we're going to use that to do one call closes, and get in the house more and to just increase, the way that we do sales and be able to have a system that we can train other people. So right now it's relying on me and Megan to be out there and people to like us and for, our skill set to sell the jobs, but we're in the process, very close to finish, putting that in place so where we can start actually freeing up for real.
Well, that's great. And you started a year ago. So you started in the middle of COVID?
Yes. And we worked all through winter.
Yeah.
Installing fence all through winter in Michigan. So that's kind of crazy. No one else does. Everybody's down there in Florida with you in the wintertime.
Right.
And we're out here with torches, getting through the first 6 inches and installing fence. And and giving people 10-year warranties. We're doing things a lot different than any other fence company is doing here in West Michigan. Well, more than any other fence company I know across the line. Like no one has a sales system.
Well, let me just ask you something though, but as it relates to that, don't forget what you were going to say, but do you charge more than everybody else does? At least that you know of?
Yeah, we're probably twice as much.
Okay. So to the listener, okay. So they're twice as much as the next person. Okay. And or as everybody else. And look at how much they've grown in a year. Now, are your customers generally upset with you at the end of the job? Are they happy with you or are they thrilled with you at the end of the job?
They're absolutely thrilled. A lot of people say, hey, you were $5,000 more than every other quote, but we trust you. We believe in you and your product, and we believe that we're going to be taken care of, for the years to come. So they were sold on the value of our visit more than the value of the product.
So for those of you that are watching on video, I've got my finger up and I'm pointing at what he's saying. I'm acknowledging what he's saying with my finger and with my head, because this is what it's all about. Too many people are hung up on price. We talk about price here all the time. Well, look, here's the proof. In a small company, some people will say, well, yeah, they're a big company. They do millions of dollars. Yeah, they could charge more. Or, they do the one call close and they're ripping people off and blah, blah, blah. Well, if Dan was ripping people off, wouldn't they be pissed off at him? No, they're thrilled. Why? Because they got good value, because he's out there in the winter doing whatever it takes. Now, the other thing that you said that led up to this and what made me ask you that question is you want to do things different than the other fence companies.
Yes.
So talk a little bit more about that, which, by the way, that is one of the golden keys to getting premium pricing and really thinking about your business in terms of as a marketer would.
Okay, one of the things that sets us apart is we're one of only 2 fence companies in West Michigan that offer financing. No one offers financing, especially in this hard time with COVID and all the material price increases. We want to make sure that that's available for them. So we've created an easy way for them to get financing for our jobs to make that higher price less of a sting. Another thing is everybody else from our experience is literally just coming out there with a tape measure and measuring it out and barely getting back to people. There's no communication, there's no customer service, and we're very customer service oriented. The customer experience starts from the moment you call us. We're speed to lead. We answer the phone right away. We communicate everything with you. We give you pictures for everything. We come out and take digital augmented reality, pictures of all of your measurements, so there is no miscommunication. We go ahead and right now what we're doing is we're building, like I said, a proprietary sales system that gets us in the house and sits down with you. We can sit down with you and present, why we're different, how we're going to stay with you for the next 10 years with our worry-free guarantee. No one else has that either. That sets us apart. And things like that, and just show that they can trust us, give them information of who we are so they know the kind of company.
And if you want to make money in home improvements, just rewind the podcast, go back about a minute or two and re-listen to what Dan just told you. If you want to make mediocre money, just do what everybody else does. If you want to have up months and down months, erratic profit or non-existent profit, just do what everybody else does. But if you really want to be successful, you really want to make money, if you really want to grow a company, you got to be different from everybody else. In my first book, the Double Your Profits book, there's a quote that I put in there, that successful people are willing to do the things that unsuccessful people are not willing to do. That's the main difference. And it's funny, me and John, my buddy John Anglis, we had a conversation this morning because I made the mistake of sending John Anglis a book that I really liked, and of course leave it to John Anglis in there to find all of the propaganda that the author is trying to spread. But it was very interesting, his take. But the thing that we were talking about was that it's a book about money and it's a book about wealth. And, as with anything and everything, there are certain laws of nature. There's a reason why 1% of the population is the, most successful and the wealthiest, and this and then that. And one of the big reasons for that is they're just willing to do what other people aren't willing to do. So all of the stuff, I'm being a little long-winded here, but I want to make this point that you are doing things that other people are not willing to do. And because you're willing to do them, you get paid for that. And people are happy with that. And then you get to take some of that money, and now you get to say, okay, well, how am I going to now implement process and system? That's where you were going when I cut you off, was now you're getting into, well, now how do I create process and systems so that the thing doesn't rely on me to do everything? So talk a little bit about that. I just wanted to make sure I pointed that out to the listener, and just how important it is to take that position that I am going to do things different from everybody else.
Yep. And let me touch on that just a little bit too. So we were just a baby company. We had been in business 5 months, and our local city needed a dog park. We donated our time and put the dog park in absolutely free. And what that did for us, it created such a buzz that at that time I was trying to grow. It was just my son and I and a couple of family members. We found another company that had no desire to do marketing, that fell in love with what our business stood for, that we were willing to give back. And now they're our full-time installation arm, and we've taken them in, and now I'm not in the field installing anymore.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
Just doing more than what the other guy will do, what they don't want to do, can benefit you and pay off in major ways.
Yeah. So you were talking about you're building out a sales process, which is very smart, so that you can hire salespeople and you can grow the business. Very, very smart. Let me ask you something. So are you making more money now than you've ever made before?
Yes, absolutely.
How are you dealing with that up here mentally? How are you dealing with that?
Very good, because I see it. I envision myself making much more money than this. I'm still pinching pennies and throwing it away to get to the 100 million that I'm looking for. So I've got my goal, and I'm still just climbing the ladder to get there. And I don't feel overwhelmed by having more success than I had before. I'm just laser focused on the end game, and we'll talk about that when we get to that level.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And what's interesting too is that your business, that niche, is a niche that is just ripe for somebody like you,
Mhm.
because it's been done the old school way. The
Forever.
guy out of the back of a pickup truck, that business has been done that way for forever.
Mhm.
And there's probably very few really well organized fence companies out there.
We don't even have a fence yard that stores material. We don't pre-purchase material and have it on hand. And we don't have a fleet of trucks that we have to fuel up, pay insurance on. All that overhead isn't part of our business model.
Let's pause here for a quick break. In today's world, getting a 5-star review on Google from every single one of your customers is critical. This is something that G4 Marketing Group helps hundreds of home improvement and home services companies with every day. So we put together a free 5-star customer experience checklist to help you ensure every one of your customers are getting an experience that will turn them into raving fans. You can get your copy of the customer experience checklist today. Just go to g4marketing.com/CEX. The checklist will walk you through 30 points in your customer journey that you can improve today. That way, you'll be able to turn today's customers into tomorrow's leads, sales, and profits. Just go to g4marketing.com/CEX. That's GFOUR marketing.com/CEX to get your copy of the checklist today. Then, when you're ready to automate your relationship marketing so that your customers grow your business for you, just give G4 Marketing a call at 305-856-8788, and we'll give you a free demo to show you how your future business profits are hiding in today's customers. Now let's get back to the episode. So you've got a real focus on the customer experience. Let's talk a little bit about that. What are some of the things that you do to make sure that your customers are thrilled, that they're going to leave you 5-star reviews? I imagine you're getting quite a few referrals as well. What are some of the things you guys are doing?
I always look for the black swan. I'm looking for the thing that they really, really want, and I try to give it to them if I can, so that all of the paying for everything else doesn't really matter, because the one thing that really tears them up about their backyard or about their situation, maybe it's even their neighbor's fence, we'll go above and beyond and we'll take care of that. Or like in old veterans, we'll build people patio furniture and give it for free. We send cookies and flowers and things like you do. We just always are trying to, and super high communication, and we never argue with our customers. They're always right, period. You will do whatever you want us to do. Yeah, kind of just.
It's interesting. It goes back again to this conversation of, why are we all really in business? Obviously, we're in business so that we can create the lives that we want to live, whatever that means for you. I don't aspire to building $100 million company, but that's the beauty of it. You do, right? And what's really interesting about the whole thing is, if you really understand that, hey, at the end of the day, we are solving problems for people and we're getting compensated for that. And the more value that we give to people, the higher our reward is.
Absolutely.
And so many people out there trying to take shortcuts, and they plant their own limiting beliefs into the beliefs, or into the heads of their customers. And so they think, well, my customers just want the lowest price. No, probably not. And if they do, maybe they're not the best customer to have. my customers are this, and they don't want all of those frills. And then there's the other side of it, which is, well, how am I ever going to do that? How am I ever going to be able to go and, yeah, that's great for Dan. Maybe he's got a whole bunch of money and time, and he was just starting his business so he could go donate to a dog park. Well, he did it strategically, and I think you would have done it whether you had the money or you didn't have the money. You would have figured out a way of getting it done because it was a good opportunity.
We didn't have it.
You made it happen. You made it happen. See? And then with that goes the how you think about your customer. The customer is the most important person in the business, the most important person. They're the ones that are going to take us where we want to go. And so I love what you're doing. I have to point that way.
That's the other way.
That way. We're also recording this. This goes on to YouTube. So we're doing a Zoom meeting, and my fingers are going trying to point at him, and they're going the wrong way. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's not only is it the right thing to do, but man, how much better is it when you design an experience where a customer's like, oh my God, these guys were great. They were so professional. They stayed in touch. They went above and beyond. At the end of the day, I think that's also what this is really all about, is improving the lives of other people.
Yeah. That's why that's something that I learned a long time ago when I was an irrigation service technician. There was no reward for me to serve, but I just fell in love with serving the customers because I realized that that's what they truly wanted. It wasn't about how good I did the sprinkler or how much the company was charging them. It was, did I serve them to the best of my ability? Did I check all the boxes and handle all of their problems? And that's always stuck with me. And I fell in love with just serving people, making sure that people get, like, when I leave, that they are better than when I showed up.
Absolutely.
And yeah, it just,
and the only way you can do that is by charging the right price.
Absolutely.
Right? It's having the attitude first, but it's also, you have to be able to charge the right price in order to be able to deliver that to the customer so they get what they want, and so you get what you want. And I'm so excited to hear that you aren't afraid of that. So many people are, right?
If I charged a lower price, I wouldn't be able to give them 1-day turnarounds. I wouldn't be able to give them a 10-year worry-free guarantee. They wouldn't be seeing our commercials on television. They wouldn't have the customer experience. We wouldn't have the office staff that is able to treat them the way they get treated. They wouldn't be training to have our guys, approach them the way that they are. They wouldn't be wearing the right clothing. That all costs money.
Yeah. And then going back to that customer that said, you guys were $5,000 more. That's a lot of money, $5,000. It's a vacation that they could have taken. But no, they spent $5,000 more with you to make sure that they get the job right.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And this is like one of the big messages that I've got for people is, the business is there to serve you and serve your life. And in order for it to do that, you got to go out and serve other people. Right. So that's really cool. So where are you kind of going? One other thing I want to point out about Dan is for those of you that could see him on video, or those that maybe can hear it in his voice, he's pretty relaxed for a guy that is doing, that went from 3,000 a month, like 9 months ago, to 100,000 a month. And by the way, I do want to say this too. The 100,000, what?
And growing.
The 100,000 is not it's not a fluke. It's not because of luck. It's not just because the economy is doing what it's doing. It's because he's building the steps. He's putting the right foundational pieces in place in order for this machine to operate properly. And so I'm so happy to see how relaxed you are about the whole thing. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Why aren't you more stressed out?
I don't know. I, I don't have an answer to that one, Brian.
You have guys out installing today?
I do.
You have
Absolutely.
money, you have money that's going to come in today?
Absolutely. I have
Yep.
money that came in earlier. I have money coming in this afternoon.
Great. Do you have leads to run?
I don't have any leads to, well, excuse me, I have one lead to run this evening. I only
Okay.
put one on this.
But that was your choice?
Yes.
Okay. There you go. Beautiful thing, right? So that's awesome, man. Good for you. Good for you. So, I think that's all I got. I mean, you gave us so much stuff in such a short amount of time. I mean, this is a really good lesson in, building the thing intentionally, understanding it's about process, it's about people, it's about making sure you're making enough money to serve your customer. Would you throw anything else into there?
Yeah. The reason I guess I can say kind of I compete with my brother, but not really, because he's literally the lowest price out.
Yeah.
If they want the lowest price, I'll give him to my brother. And I have no problem doing that.
Yeah.
I can feed him all day long because they're not my customer. So I'm in a totally different bracket because those people are looking for value of the business, not cost of the product.
Yeah.
And what I always tell people is, after the sweetness of low cost is gone, the bitterness of low quality.
That's absolutely true. Absolutely true. Well, Dan, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for joining me.
Very welcome.
This turned out a lot better than I expect. I thought it was going to be really good. But this turned out a lot better than I expected. I thank you for taking your time, and you got to come back a year from now, because
Absolutely.
You're at an interesting place now in your business. That 100 a month is kind of a breaking point. And what has to generally happen is your business now, to get to this level, you have a certain set of skills and a certain mindset. But now to get to the next level, you need a new set of skills in the business. You
Absolutely.
need some new capabilities in the business. And you yourself, my friend, you're going to need a new mindset, because now you're making, and you're already doing it by putting the sales process together. You're switching now to bringing on a team of people and having managers in place. So you've got an interesting road ahead of you, and I think you're going to do great. You have really good attitude about the whole thing. So cool. Thank you.
Awesome.
All right. So everybody, again, get a copy of the 7 Secrets to Becoming a Wealthy Contractor. Go to thewealthycontractor.com. I'll buy the book. You just pay for delivery. And until next time, this is Brian Kaskavalsian with G4 Marketing Group, and this is the Wealthy Contractor Podcast. Thanks for listening to today's episode of the Wealthy Contractor Podcast. Let me ask you, did it help you look at your business in a different way? Did it spark an idea or ideas that you hadn't thought of before? Do you have a list of action items that you can take and implement into your business or your life today? I really hope so. If it did, I'd like to ask you a favor. Would you leave a 5-star review of the podcast? By doing so, you'll help other contractors find the podcast more easily so that we can help them achieve more success, wealth, and freedom. And before you go, make sure you subscribe to the Wealthy Contractor Podcast so you get access to the latest episodes as soon as they're available. We're always striving to provide you with great content, so you don't want to miss what's coming up. In fact, if you haven't already, make sure you go to thewealthycontractor.com and get your free copy of my latest book, The 7 Secrets to Becoming a Wealthy Contractor. Just pay shipping and handling, and I'll take care of the cost of the book. And finally, a big thanks to G4 Marketing for sponsoring the Wealthy Contractor Podcast. For over 12 years now, G4 Marketing has been the secret back office relationship marketing team for hundreds of home improvement and home service businesses just like yours. You get the customer, and our proven system turns that customer into 5-star reviews and profitable repeat and referral business. If your home improvement or home services company completes at least 10 jobs per month, they have a solution that will work for you. To find out more, sign up for your free, no obligation, 10-minute discovery call at www.g4marketing.com/strategy. That's GFOUR marketing.com/strategy. Set your discovery call up today, and they'll help you set your business up for long-term profits and success. So until next time, this is Brian Cascavalcio.